Dirty Sports, episode 750. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from the Hamptons, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Is that correct?
That is correct. I'm in Bridgehampton, New York, right next to, I'm literally like, I would say 50 yards away from Bridgehampton High School, which there's actually a Netflix documentary about their state basketball dominance. So I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things. It's also, I believe, where Carl Yastrzemski went to high school.
The legend Carl Yastrzemski,
father of Mike Yastrzemski.
Yeah, that's a tough one to live up to.
Yeah, was forever the last Triple Crown winner until Cabrera.
Cabrera, yeah. It's crazy. That was a record that stood for a while.
Yeah, it's tough.
So that's RBIs, average, and home runs, correct?
Correct.
The leader of just the league.
Just the your league.
Your league.
Yeah. So he won the American League Triple Crown.
Yeah. How about my boy Joey Votto?
How about your boy Joey Votto?
I so wanted him to tie that record. He came 6 inches? 6 inches at Citi Field?
Yeah. And Citi Field, tough place to, pretty tough place to hit homers in general. So he got one in the first game of the series, right?
Yeah.
And then the second game is where he lost it. Yeah, it's close. I did this fantasy baseball show at the beginning of the year. I don't know how many dirtballs tuned in. Somebody asked me to guest on this fantasy baseball show. And it was all about like waiver wire pickups. And they went through first base. They were like, okay, just name a random first baseman. I didn't realize you were supposed to name a random first baseman that would be available on the waiver wire, because the guy in front of me goes Joey Votto. And then I was like, Pete Alonso. Now we're just naming like great first baseman. Like I was like, Pete, and they were like, bro, can't say Pete Alonso. And I was like, Joey Votto is not like waiver wire available. And they're like, yeah, he is. He's owned in 20% of leagues. This is to start the year. And I was like, I just want to go on the record as saying right now, Joey Votto is good enough that he should be on, 95% of rosters. And I'm not like a Joey Votto fan. Obviously, you're a big Cincinnati guy, but that was amazing to me that the disrespect they were giving Joey Votto to start the year. And I'm on the record as saying that was bullshit.
Well, he's had a couple down years. And it's just like something clicked. He said going into this year, he was changing his focus. And since June, he's just playing great baseball. And he said it's the first time in his career he's trying to hit home runs. And I went on like a deep dive on the local paper, an interview he had. And that's what he said. Is how he's swinging, and he's altered his stance, and obviously it shows. You're at 37 and you homer in 7 straight games, and that one was tough because the one he didn't get out, they said in 17 out of 30 ballparks that's out.
Yeah,
which whatever. You break it down how you want, but dude, I'm all happy for him. A lot of Reds fans, the contract that he signed 10 years ago, they get worked up over. But I've always said, for the most part, I would argue he's earned it. And for what else he brings to the ball club, to the fans, all those other intangibles.
I just think obviously so many of these big contracts don't quote unquote work out, but it's a totally different situation in baseball than it is in every other sport. There's the luxury tax, but there's not a cap by any means. So it's like, it's not your fucking money. And a team shouldn't sign these guys to these contracts if that's going to affect potentially signing other guys. Just sign It like be competitive. That was always my problem with the Wilpons is like you have a team that could be competitive, but you don't want to spend any more money. It's like when I totally understand in baseball being like, hey, we're going to dial back our payroll because I don't think that we can be competitive. But if you can be competitive, the idea of not going over a luxury tax or not spending enough money or not paying somebody because you paid somebody else, I think it's like, then don't be a fucking baseball owner. Don't be a penny pinching baseball owner. Oh, I always say this about when I see people, I'm sure I've said this on this show at some point, but I've definitely said it on the Kooks of Comedy numerous times. Sometimes I'll see people who have their bike rack or their surf rack on their Porsche and they're going to the beach. I'm like, if you don't have a second car, you don't have an SUV for your bike, you can't afford a Porsche in the first place. Like, have a car for your bike and have a Porsche. If you can't spend the money to compete when you have a team that can in baseball, you're not rich enough to be a baseball owner. Get out of the business.
Well, look, I understand, markets differ. You are going to have a different salary as far as means what you can pay in a smaller market like Cincinnati. And you could argue that it's definitely hamstrung the Reds to a degree. That's a fair assessment. But again,
you know what makes money? Winning.
Yeah. And also, I go to the ballpark. I want to see him. He's an attraction. He's a ride. To break it down, like you don't go to the amusement park if they don't have a cool roller coaster, to bring it back to my favorite thing, roller coasters. But if they don't have, what are you shaking your head for?
I mean, this fucking,
I've only been twice.
The Midwest Ruther is real. I mean, it happened so fast. Fucking raccoons in cages and roller coasters. And like, it's really unbelievable.
Well, let's be honest. What was Southern California, Ruther?
I mean, do you know how many fucking amusement parks are in Southern California? You could hit a golf ball from Venice Beach and hit 10 amusement parks. Knott's Berry Farm, Universal, Six Flags. You didn't go to one of them.
Well, I lived across the street from the beach.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying you're a fucking coaster guy.
I don't have a beach across the street from me. Got a disgusting river. That's what I'm dealing with. For the record, final 2 weeks of weekday Kings Island before the end of the summer. So,
oh no, you're gonna have to back them in.
I've only been twice. I need to just ride the big.
How many visits make the season pass worth it?
Twice.
Okay.
So I've already made my money back. I'll go probably 2 more times. I'll fit in 2 more times. I gotta ride the Giga Coaster, Orion. It's on the to-do list.
Unbelievable.
So whatever. Anyway, back to baseball. I really enjoyed this ride. Obviously, it's extra special as a Reds fan, but I enjoyed social media basically unanimously having Votto's back. I think because he's older, right? He's 37.
Mm-hmm.
He's just 2 years younger than me. And I think it's great. And I've been doing a deep dive, and I told you about this, and we don't have to do this now, but I didn't think he'd be a Hall of Famer. If you look, Larry Walker's getting into the Hall of Fame this year. If Votto has 2 more decent years similar to this year, he's going to be extremely, like, his numbers. This is Votto through 14 years. Larry Walker did 16 years. So again, if Votto does about 2 more years of this year's productivity, and that's a big if.
Yeah.
His numbers are going to be right there with home runs, hits.
Now put in earplugs, Bo Blaha, because I know this is going to, and he's not playing a course.
Well, he's playing in a hitter's park.
Yeah. He
Great
is playing
American.
in a hitter's park. Yeah. But it's not Coors Field.
Do you really think it makes that much of a difference?
Home run wise? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And listen, the same goes for pitchers there. Like, you have to take that's why big free agents never want to sign there. You got to take that into consideration. But like, yeah, it's a factor for sure.
Yeah, it was always crazy. Who was your guy? Who was the guy from the Mets that then went signed the big contract, the pitcher,
Hampton.
Mike Hampton. You remember what happened when he went to Colorado?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, the Mets brought back their black jerseys on Friday, and they were showing the souvenir stand there. They're like, we're all ready with the black jerseys. They had like the jersey they were selling, and they had Mike Hampton, who's obviously a big name when they were in the midst of the black jerseys. And I was like, talk about fucking trying to get rid of your old inventory. Is anybody going and buying like that shit better be $10? Who's going to buy a Mike Hampton black Mets jersey on fucking the Friday they trade for Hobby?
Yeah, big trade for you guys.
Big trade, not the trading deadline I think a lot of people thought the Mets would have. But as far as the Mets go, and I know we're battered wives of abusive husbands, it's still year one of Cohen. They make a move for a guy, who can fill in for Lindor right now while Lindor's hurt, who can play obviously every infield position. A guy who can, obviously he did it in the first game. He hits a homer. The Mets have, as of late, been, a Pete Alonso bomb or not a Pete Alonso bomb offensively. So you have another guy who absolutely has, crazy home run power, and it's a nice move. The Puerto Rican thing with Lindor, they're like besties. Diaz has talked about how not having Lindor out there has affected him in save situations. So you have another guy that can, I guess, talk Puerto Rican to Diaz during save situations. What's
that Puerto Rican talk sound like?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it's like apparently Diaz needs specifically another Puerto Rican. Like somebody else coming up to him and talking Spanish, apparently he's not cutting it. He's literally been like, I need Lindor to come talk to me during save situations. I mean, it's a great fit for them right now. What is the fit long term? I don't know. But I love it. I mean, talk about a team that has struggled defensively on the infield. They've been pretty good. The Mets have been pretty good defensively, considering all the injuries they've had. Like the VRs have filled in nicely, but on with their kind of go-to starting infield, with if you're playing Davis at third, McNeil at second, Lindor at short, it's a little, and Alonso at first, it's a little dicey. You tap out McNeil and or Davis with a Javi, and like defensively, it's just like a whole different world. So I like the move. They didn't quite make the moves. They didn't quite go as big as I thought they were going to go. But, Rich Hill and Javi, I'll take it. Well, Scherzer, obviously, they were odds-on favorite to get Scherzer, and then Scherzer, is a little bitch and needs to be the best pitcher on whatever team he joins. He can do that to any team except the New York Mets, where he's clearly the second best.
Well, a couple things. One, yeah, not the biggest move. Obviously, the Baez move is a nice move for you guys, and same for getting Rich Hill. But also, you're in a mediocre division. So my point is, you don't even have two teams with a winning record. I think that helps, right? So,
well, I mean, I think the disappointing thing as a Mets fan is, and I've said this a lot recently, and I think it's 100% true. A healthy Jacob deGrom in the playoffs as your game one starter. And I would love to talk to an actual baseball bookmaker about this. But I think the Mets, with a game one starter at Jacob deGrom, if he's fully healthy and pitching, the way he's pitched this whole year when he's been on the mound, I think they're betting favorites against every single team in the history of baseball. Like a guy pitching the way he's pitching right now, like I don't think a guy who goes out there and almost never gives up 2 earned runs, I don't think the 27 Yankees are betting favorites in that game. I mean, every single Jacob deGrom start, when I look at the line, they're minus 185. They're minus 195. Like, so to have that guy potentially be able to pitch 3 games in a series, I think that makes you World Series contenders, regardless of their regular season record, regardless of their division, regardless of whatever. So I think that was the issue with the Mets right now is like, yeah, it's a nice little move. Would have been nice to have a second starting pitcher because you're going to be betting favorites. You're going to be a favorite in every single game Jacob deGrom pitches, regardless of who he's pitching against. The Dodgers, the fucking Yankees, the Astros, it doesn't matter.
Well, the Dodgers got a lot richer. The rich will get richer. They
Yep.
had Scherzer and Trey Turner. I do hate that. I'll be honest. It's just like, I know it's the way it is, but they can just do that so easily because there aren't any salary cap restraints. As a sports fan, I don't like it. Then again, it is what it is. I'm saying if you look at different sports, Joe, you rarely see the other two, basketball and football. You're not seeing at the trade deadline, at least that I can recall, adding like a monster pitcher like that. I don't know what the equivalent is. You're not seeing the Lakers or the Patriots or whoever adding, that sort of piece. That's what kind of stinks about baseball and the no salary cap.
Well, that's why I said, Scherzer's a little bitch because he, kind of essentially forced his move to a Dodgers team. And you're like, man, there are so many teams you could have gone to and made legit World Series contenders. And then you put a bunch of teams on your no trade list, except, the Dodgers and the Padres. Like, you're like, oh, okay. I guess you're just, not only do you want to go to the West Coast, but you're only willing to play for teams that are already stacked. You're not coming in and doing, what guys in the past have done and just take a team that's there and take them over the hump. You're going to the defending champ.
He's already done that in the postseason. What if he doesn't want to now? What if he just says, I want to go again to a West Coast team and just be that additional piece?
Yeah, it's fine. But the whole world, destroyed Kevin Durant over it. Obviously, he signed as a free agent, but when you're a guy who's going to get moved at the deadline and you say, I'm only willing to play for this team and this team.
To be fair, Scherzer, again, has already gotten a chip on his own.
Sure.
As the man.
Sure.
Kevin Durant never got a chip on his own as the man. I think there's the difference. Now, the Giants counter by adding Chris Bryant, which is a nice piece for them.
Great piece for them. Bryant's going to be great. I mean, all the Cubs just fire sailing. The talk forever was, who is the guy that they keep?
Sure.
They're going to get rid of Bryant and Baez because they're going to sign Rizzo. Oh, they're going to get rid of Rizzo and Baez because they love Chris Bryant. They get rid of everybody.
Well, we have a very
sad Cubs fan.
yeah, I'm going to play it. We can discuss it. This is, sports can get emotional, and this is what happens when your team does a complete and utter fire sale, garage sale, whatever you want to call it. They're basically selling everything in the property. And let's hear from a Cubs fan.
Hey boys, it's your Indiana dirtball Preston, and so I'm a Cubs fan, and I just had a question regarding fandom. Does it make me a bad fan when the team that I've loved trades away every player on the team that I love? Am I allowed to switch fan bases for a year or even a couple years? I'm unhappy with the way that the owners of the Cubs have dealt with this, and it left a really bad taste in my mouth. So first off, I'm hoping if I can join your Mets fandom. I've got money on deGrom to win MVP. Shout out to Joe Brino. So I'm kind of there, and my buddy's a Padres fan, and we always go to the Padres Cubs games, so I'm kind of rooting for the Padres as well. Basically, my question is, does that make me a dick? And would you do the same thing? And condoms are for the fucking Cubs. God damn it, that pisses me off. Anyway, say dairy, boys.
You know what I love, by the way, when Dirtball's calling, they're like, "This is your Indiana." Like, there's one. I love this. Dirtballs. This is what I've been noticing. Calls like, "This is your Wisconsin dirt." Like, there's just like each state gets one listener.
I love it.
This is your North Dakota Dirtball.
I've said for many years that we need remember the beer caps map?
Yeah,
that we post around. I've said for years we need a Dirtball map, and just start listing names of people that we know for sure are from certain states.
Well, what I'm picking up on too is it's basically we have consistency of the same people calling, which is fine. I always like new callers, but we have that same contingency of callers. You can't give up on your team, dude.
Well, I mean, I think his question when he posed it originally sounded like one thing, but then he kind of clarified. What I will say is, I mean, I think it's fine to be like, I'm going to root for these teams that are in it. I like this. My teams are out. I'm going to root for these guys. It doesn't sound like he's abandoning the Cubs. It sounds like he's asking for permission to root for other teams now that the Cubs have given up on the season, which I will say, yeah. As opposed to his original question, can I take a couple years off? Oh, can you take a couple years off from the Cubs while they go into rebuild? And then when they're back to good, you can root for them again? No, you have to be a Cubs fan the whole time. But the rest of this year, if you want to hop on, you're like, oh, well, the Cubs aren't going to compete. I want the Mets to be the team out of the NL. Sure, I do that shit all the time.
Well, look, as someone who's come from a market that does fire sales from time to time, it's awful. It really is. As a fan base, when you're going to suck for a couple years, it's terrible, right? And that's not a good feeling. But also, you're Chicago. You're the third largest market in the entire country. You're going to be good soon. All they're doing is just reshuffling their entire roster, and they're going to rebuild. And you'll be good. And I admit that's got to suck. But look at try to take a silver lining. I know this might sound kind of corny, but these guys got you a World Series, man.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, is like, listen, the Cubs go 100 years without a World Series. I think every single Cubs fan in history would have signed up for one. But at the same time, they are a big market. They have a lot of money. And now they're kind of reshuffling, like Rizzo and Bryant and, to a lesser extent, Baez, like they're not, the ambulance is going by for the fucking Cubs fans. Those guys have careers ahead of them still, and they're going to be productive. So this whole thing of crying kind of like poor and we've got to reshuffle. It's like, I'm totally into a rebuild, but like you have the money. With baseball, it's still like Jason Hayward's still there. Hate to say I told you so, but don't go spending money on fucking dipshittery and then be like, we need to do something about our salary cap. Let's get rid of beloved Cubs, lifer Cubs, Rizzo, Bryant, Baez. And now you're stuck with journeyman, essentially bust that you overpaid Jason Hayward in the fucking outfield. Be smarter with your money. It sucks to be a baseball fan that has to, see your favorite players leave because your front office made other incompetent moves that they can't get out of. You're the Chicago Cubs. You got a World Series. You made a lot of money. You have the money. The idea that all three of these guys had to go is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They should have kept one guy as the core to be the bridge to the last team to rebuild around.
Sure. Chicago is a great baseball town. It's a great, Wrigleyville. It's a great area for baseball. So you're going to be back. You're going to like the Cubs will be.
Dude, there was a long time that the Cubs were not back ever.
I agree, but I would argue or speculate, I should say, the Cubs will be back within 2 years. Maybe not next season, the season after that. It's just the fans are too fervent there. They care too much.
I would argue that there's a better chance that they're not than they are. Remember, Epstein is the guy who broke the second curse. You know, he's the curse breaker. He's long gone. And now, you know, like, was that their window? Like, so far, the Cubs' new management is fire sailing all of their best players.
Yeah. I bet Steve Bartman's available. Bring him back in the fold.
Bring him back.
They should do
I love the Rizzo move for the Yankees. I love every one of the moves that the teams that acquired these guys made. They all homered in their debuts. Rizzo's going to hit a million home runs in the Little League ballpark that is the Yankee Stadium's right field. Bryant is going to it sucks to be a Cubs fan right now.
Yeah. But like you said, it's good. These guys are all going to teams that are in the thick of it, that have a legit chance at making deep playoff runs. So good for those guys.
Yeah.
And I, like, for me as a non-Cubs fan, I will always associate those guys with that 2016 Cubs. Anytime I see Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, any of those guys, and I'm sure Cubs fans will as well, you'll just think this is the team that finally got the World Series for Chicago, the long awaited. And they'll be legends in Cubs history, and deservingly so. What are some other big trades that we haven't talked about? Are there any other big?
You've got the tracker up, don't you? We talked obviously Scherzer, Trey Turner. Talked all the Cubs moves.
Well, speaking of Cubs, I like the Kimbrel to the White Sox. Just
unlike Scherzer, he's like, yeah, I'll go across town. Yeah, I'll go to a kind of rival. I ain't a little bitch.
I was going to say, that's just, obviously they're running away with that division, but that's a nice little piece for them to only enhance the roster.
A reminder, I picked White Sox Mets as the World Series matchup this year.
What do you think about that La Russa running out in the field?
He's unbelievable. I swear, you know, with the DUI, like, now I just think La Russa might be drunk all the time. I just assume he is. I just assume he's drunk all the time. I mean, his post games, the shit he's doing on the field, some of his fucking moves. Is Tony La Russa drunk 100% of the time?
He's 76 years old, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always impressed by these managers. That is a long season, 162 games from city to city. You're 76 years old. That is just a taxing toll on your body, especially when you're sprinting. And let's use the word sprinting loosely.
Sprinting. Power walking. Is power walking still an Olympic sport?
I don't think it ever was. Was it?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen competitive power walking on tracks where they can only they can't I don't know.
Suburban house
both
moms
feet off the ground or something at the same time.
Would crush that. Really? Power walking was a competitive thing?
Look it up.
Because you can't.
Who cares?
I'm not looking. You can't run though.
Right. I think the rule is you can't have both feet off the ground at the same time.
So my mom used to walk half marathons, and some of the women that she walked with got really angry at one of my mom's friends because they claimed she didn't technically walk the half marathons with her group, and she would be jogging too much. And that caused
Tokyo Olympic preview race walks. Men's 20-kilometer race walk. Women's 20-kilometer race walk. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. There was a woman
50-kilometer race walk.
But how do you define it? That's what I'm saying. There was a woman in my mom's group who was moving too fast.
I'm assuming that it's something like 1 foot's always got to be in contact with the ground. You know, when you're running, you obviously taking strides where your feet and I know nothing about walking or running, but I'm just going to assume that's what it is.
Yeah. Do you think any of who does these trades help the most?
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers, of course.
Yeah. The Yankees, I mean, the Yankees made some great moves, but The Yankees,
they're 7 games out right now.
They're going to have a tough time making the playoffs at all.
Sure.
And nothing would make me happier than if they just still didn't make the playoffs. Also, nothing would make me happier than, a Padres 1-game win over a Dodgers in a wild card, or the Dodgers making it to, an NLCS and Jacob deGrom shoving it up Max Scherzer's ass. Are you
really mad about Scherzer? It's pretty obvious.
I mean, I'm not mad. Listen,
you're mad.
I'm not mad.
You're mad.
I just think that I'm not even mad he didn't go to the Mets as much as that he went to the Dodgers because he essentially was like, I'm only going to the Dodgers. It just seems like a soft thing to do for Mr. Two different color eyes, bulldog stomping around the mound. I only go to the best team with the best lineup. That's how fucking much of a crazy fucking competitor I am.
Yeah, but I'm defending him, man. Whatever. He just wants to go to LA. Whatever. He wants to go to Southern California.
But what makes me mad is when people, pretend to be one thing. And then
what's he pretend?
He's Mr. Fucking I fucking strike out everybody. I'm so fucking badass and tough, and I always have the fucking sourpuss on my face. But I will only play in places where the temperature ranges from 72 to 74 every day, and already has the best lineup in baseball because I'm a badass.
I mean, you're unbelievable. This Max, dude, the guy's won 3 Cy Young awards.
Cool.
The guy's career
seems like ring chasing at this point is really fucking soft. You already have a ring. You already have 3 Cy Youngs. You've already proven everything. No, I'm gonna fucking stomp around, but I need the weather to be fucking perfect, and I need we need to have the best lineup. I need fucking run support.
Where is this Max Scherzer blasphemy coming? Just from his facial expressions in the mound?
Well, he's Mr. fucking, stomp around, angry.
But that's
pissed off.
That's his demeanor. That's
Yeah.
how he channels it. You are so mad that he didn't go to the Mets.
I'm actually more mad that he went to the Dodgers than I'm mad. If he had gone to the Giants, I wouldn't be saying this. If he'd gone to the Padres, I probably wouldn't be saying this as much. If he'd gone to the Yankees, I'd have been like, well, good for fuck. It's the Yankees, and that would have been annoying, but they're in fucking 4th place.
Yeah, but again, from his perspective, he's going to a team that already has all the pieces around him. They've won a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make him any less of a person, of a player.
No, what makes him a less of a person is I will only go there. You guys have to trade me. You're gonna trade me, but I have a no trade clause and I'm only going here. Well, fuck you then.
I'm going to stand up for Max Scherzer and his 2 different colored eyes. I can't wait till he faces your Mets in the playoffs.
Let's hope the highest payroll in baseball that keeps stacking players gets into first place and doesn't lose a 1-game wild card because they can't win their own fucking division. Yeah,
that division is thick, man. What up?
Giants are playing with fucking, like the lineup comparison between the Giants and the Dodgers is like they're like the Dodgers farm team.
Giants have the best record in baseball.
I know. Shout out to the Giants.
No one saw this coming.
No one.
And those 3 teams, I'm just hoping that San Diego gets beat up a bunch by those other teams, because my Reds are they're creeping back in that wild card, and that's what I want, because I think the Reds had the best record in the National League in July, and they gained a game on the Brewers. So
right.
So that's the way I'm looking at, like, dude, the Reds are playing good baseball, but now they're only 4 back of the Padres because Joey Votto is putting his team on his back, though. So that's what I'm just hoping for, but it's going to get pretty good. I think these last, what are we talking here? These last 50 games.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Have the Dodgers already played the Mets in Los Angeles?
They have not. That's actually happening in a couple weeks. I've already got tickets to 2 games. I'm going to one of them with Chris Wilde on his birthday, and I've also got tickets with the Seven Line Army Mets fan club coming to town. I'll be there for at least 2 of those games.
I got to give a shout out to Jay Lloyd. He went to the Mets Reds game yesterday. This is such a simple idea, but it's a brilliant idea what he does for games. So Jay Lloyd, for those of you who don't know, longtime dirtball, he's our Photoshop connoisseur. He does all the great Photoshops for us, and he's really talented. And he's a Cincinnati guy. He was up there visiting Kyle Aronofsky.
Yes. Shout out to both of those guys. I had plans on trying to swing through beautiful Toms River, New Jersey on my way back from the Jersey Shore, but I was running a little behind. I will one day make it to Kyle Aronofsky's Miller Lite serving backyard bar. I am sad and hurt by my own actions that I did not make it while Jay Lloyd was there. I apologize. I know I let you guys down. I owe you one.
Yeah, you did. I'm playing. Okay. So it's actually, I think it's Kyle's birthday today. So shout out to Kyle. Happy birthday from Toms River, New Jersey. So they go to the game yesterday, and Jay Lloyd, he's texted me some photos. They're on the far right behind the dugout. You know what his move is? Think about how brilliant this is when the tickets have gone digital. He'll buy cheap seats and they'll scout it out. Now, we've all done this our whole life. Then we move down, but you can't move down now, right, Joe? Unless you show him the tickets.
Right.
Then he photoshops on his tickets the better location.
It's fantastic.
Think about how brilliant this is. He goes, no security guard's going to know.
Yeah.
You watch the game for probably what? I think about I think
it's just like how Jay Lloyd photoshopped my negative PCR test when I went to fucking opening day because my vaccination wasn't official yet.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. I was like, hey, I need a fucking negative COVID test. He's like, you got it.
That's amazing. So he's been doing this, and he said during the 2015 Bengals season, like the last season that they were pretty good when they had the epic meltdown against the Steelers, he said he did that for the whole season. He had cheap Bengals seats, and he would Photoshop like $2,000 seats every game that he knew nobody was going to be sitting in. I think it's just such a brilliant idea if you're good at Photoshop to do that. And like my head was exploding because I'm like, this is such a great idea. Now I'm hearing he's photoshopping COVID tests.
Yeah.
And Jay Lloyd has been canceled because we just put him.
I was vaccinated. That's the thing. Like, I didn't feel bad about it at all because I was already vaccinated. But they were like, oh, you have to be. I would think I was like 11 days out after being vaccinated. They were like, your vaccination has to be 2 weeks old. And I was like, guys, this is nonsense. I literally got vaccinated to come to this game. Now you're telling me I didn't get vaccinated early enough.
You know, it'd be funny too if somebody showed up at those seats and then you were both showing your phones. And, you know, let's be honest, the people working these games, I think you have to be 65 or older.
Well, yeah. Also, I mean, there's always the scanning of the QR code, which is the thing. I've done this recently, which is, you know, they scan you when you come in.
Sure.
But they never scan you when you're going to your seats. So like I bought a single ticket when I went to San Diego, and then there was a bunch of, you know, friends of mine that were there. I was like, I'm getting myself a good seat. I was like, there's no one sitting down here. So I just screenshot my ticket, and I was like, here, I texted it to them. I was like, use this to get down to where I'm sitting and then just sit next to me.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of ways around the system now.
Yeah. Back in the day when they had a hard ticket, only one person could have the hard fucking ticket.
So I'm saying we have figured it out. Okay, let's move on from one trade from the NBA.
Baseball trades to basketball trades.
That's all I was trying to say. Stumbling on my words.
Let's go from just locking up.
I don't know what was happening there.
Fucking full max headroom there.
My AI.
It's a reference and literally no one will get.
Literally, I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? You don't remember Max Headroom?
What was that?
Oh, man. It was a show back in the day. you would remember from the 80s. Like if you saw it, it was a short-lived TV show where like it was like an AI, like a computer thing that was like this, he was like an AI, Max Headroom. And oh man, somebody should go down that. But like you've seen it referenced a million times.
What was the one with the girl robot? Small World?
Yeah, Small Wonder.
Small Wonder. What do you make of this Lakers trade, man? I don't like it.
Listen, I like it and I don't like it simultaneously. What I like about it is you have a guy in Russell Westbrook who, if we're now in the portion of LeBron's career where it's like he's going to need rest. He's played, in 10 finals. He's played in Olympics. He's been playing in the NBA since he was 18. Like there's a lot of wear on LeBron James. I think what I like about it is you can have a team of a healthy Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, random fucking collection of people, and win regular season basketball games. And be like, I'm talking about without LeBron James. Now, obviously, you have LeBron James. He's healthy, whatever. That makes you you have a great little threesome. But what I don't like about it is I don't think it pushes them over the top in terms of being able to compete with the other great teams. Like, I just don't think Russell Westbrook and LeBron James are necessarily a nice fit basketball-wise.
That's what I'm saying.
They were talking about Buddy Hield. There was that Buddy Hield move that was out there.
They need a shooter, man.
Right. And Russell Westbrook at this point
is not a shooter and never has been.
I mean, I believe just like a Kyrie Irving, just like a Carmelo Anthony, just like it's not hard to catch and shoot. But I just don't think he has that ability in him to like approach the game that way. I just don't think he has the ability to have the basketball and not put the basketball on the floor. But, the reason I like it is, again, I think Russell Westbrook is good, really good at basketball.
He's great.
He can win games by himself. And he will win games for the Lakers by himself.
Okay,
but what does it mean come playoff time when you've got to beat more complete teams that are also put together better?
But for me, I'm trying to understand from the basketball side, the playmaking side, the plays, whatever offense they're calling. LeBron needs the ball in his hands. So does Westbrook. How is that playing out in these moments?
Look how it played out with Harden and Westbrook. Not great.
And that's my point.
The only other thing that makes me really like it is like in LeBron, I trust. LeBron is obviously the greatest basketball talent of all time, in my opinion, the greatest basketball player ever, in my opinion. I also think he has the highest basketball IQ he's up in the top 1% of all time. Like, does LeBron James, not Frank Vogel, but does LeBron James figure out a way that he can use Russell Westbrook's skill set and is he smart enough to go, Russell Westbrook isn't changing, but I can change. I can be a player that adjusts my game to suit what we now have in Russell Westbrook. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's possible.
You're going to give Westbrook the benefit of the doubt.
No, I'm going to give LeBron James the benefit of the doubt that he can find a way to make this work. I just still don't like the thing I don't like about it is I think it makes them a significantly better regular season team. And that's great for them. They have a higher seed. They have home games. They have whatever. I just don't think it pushes them over the top to beat a specifically a Bucks team and a Nets team in an NBA Finals. I think the Suns, obviously, Chris Paul has declined his option. I don't think that they're going to be back. Do I think the Lakers are better than Utah? Yeah. Do I think the Lakers are better than, are they going to be better than Denver if Denver is completely healthy? I don't know. Are they going to be better than, but the West also has, you look at teams like, Portland, like they have a chemistry problem. They've got too many guys doing the same thing, too many guys who need the ball problem. I think it's more in terms of, I think this helps the Lakers as a team, but I'm not sure how much it helps them win a championship.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't think adding Carmelo Anthony as the 3-point shooter helps them win a championship.
Man, he just keeps he's like a retread. He just keeps getting brought up from team to team again and again and again. Yeah, I don't like it for those reasons as well. Come playoff time, come crunch time when it really matters. So Kawhi opted out, but he's most likely going to re-sign for the max amount of money he can make with the Clippers. But he might not play all next year, from what I'm reading, if that's accurate.
Injury-wise?
Yeah, his knee was shredded.
He's going to miss a whole year. And re-sign for a max contract?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? The timetable with
He's
these guys' injuries.
Team player.
Apparently, they've already invested enough in him that they're not going to back out now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he jacked up his knee pretty badly. He's probably at least missing half a season. Paul opted out as well.
Yep.
So
where does Chris Paul end up?
See, okay. I'm going to propose this to you. Would you have rather had Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook on the Lakers?
Chris Paul.
Me too, without a doubt.
But, it does cause the same sort of problem. LeBron James throughout his career has essentially been the point guard of his basketball team.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's not going to be a spot up shooter. Chris Paul needs the ball in his hands. Chris Paul, you know what? I'm not sure. I'm maybe Russell Westbrook, honestly.
Okay.
Age wise, I'm going to say Russell Westbrook. Actually, I changed my mind because I don't know that Chris Paul pushes them over the top in terms of winning a championship either. And I don't think Chris Paul helps them. I don't think a Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, LeBron James out, or a Chris Paul, LeBron James, Anthony Davis out is more dynamic than Russell Westbrook in terms of just winning random Wednesday night regular season games against the Sacramento Kings. Russell Westbrook can go out there and do that by himself. And I think that's great when you have an aging LeBron James who needs rest. And he's back in LA. LA guy.
What are some
the
other
ceiling
trades?
On Russell Westbrook is way higher at this point in his age and his career than Chris Paul. So it's really just a matter of, can LeBron James get him to be something other than a stat padding psychopath?
Yeah, good luck with that, though.
Well, if there's somebody who could do it, it's LeBron James.
All right. Other big trades we want to talk about? As I'm scrolling through.
Hit me with some trade tracker.
OKC. Always trading.
They get
Derek Favors and a future first round pick. Jazz get a future second round pick. I mean, they're just stockpiling.
They love stockpiling picks.
They really do. I mean, the big one was obviously Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Your Knicks were making trades, but within the draft, basically.
Right. we still have Ben Simmons on the Sixers.
I think that says a lot, to be honest. I don't know if people want him. But you got to be able to shoot. You just got to be able to shoot. I don't care how, like, you got to be able to shoot. You just have to. I think he's just such a liability right now.
You know where I'd low-key like to see Ben Simmons? The Warriors. If you have shooters, they doesn't need to be able to shoot. Sean Livingston Bonanza.
I think they were looking at potential trades, but the Sixers wanted more.
Well, the Sixers need to get their shit together because they have to know its value.
I thought I saw. Yeah. I did see something. Let me pull this up. If this is accurate. So the Sixers were trying to work out a deal with the Warriors. Let me see what the deal was. Come on. What was the deal? Don't give me this headline and then not disclose the deal. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the asking price was way too steep. Okay, the Sixers asked for Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, the numbers 7 and 14 picks.
That's
Jesus Christ.
Fucking ridiculous.
Again, that's absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd. I mean, he's damaged goods.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think he's unsalvageable.
Dude, just work on your jump shot every day. Every single day. Hire a coach every single day. Just work on your jump shot. Like, seriously, let's talk about me. I'm almost 40 years old. If I spent 2 hours a day with a coach working on my jump shot, I'm shooting great after 12 months. I legit think that if I had 2 hours a day with a specialized shooting coaches, and all these guys have that, I am just hitting buckets. And I do not have any athletic ability. Talking about Ben Simmons.
You wouldn't be able to get it off on anybody, but he's 6'10".
That's my point. 2 hours. Dude, I don't think this is crazy to say. 2 hours a day, every single day with a coach.
He's got the yips. He's got the spinsies.
Dude, see a therapist, man.
Yeah.
Use that Dirty Sports promo code, Dirty.
By the way, I want to just
talk space
because I just said the spinsies. I shouldn't even do this because, faceless troll accounts, but like somebody tried to call me out for the Kyrie Irving thing. I think that we were very clear in saying that the difference between Kyrie Irving and Simone Biles was
Get ready. Our most popular battery is
what we still to this day have no idea what Kyrie Irving's problems are. Meanwhile, Simone Biles is putting up video of her not being able to land shit on her Instagram and being like, guys, you guys are all talking about this, and I'm going to show you what I'm dealing with. Meanwhile, we still have no idea, nor does Steve Nash, nor does fucking anybody know what Kyrie Irving's problem is. And somebody coming at me for saying, basically, we were shitting on Kyrie Irving. I'm like, no, we said very clearly. She owned it 100% and continues to own it, continues to put out fucking information about what's wrong. And Kyrie Irving, to this day, we have no idea what his issue is. Family illness, Black Lives Matter, the world's flat. I have no idea. He's never once made a fucking statement. He just disappears and doesn't feel like he has to answer to anybody, and has never even said he's mentally unfit. So fuck you, weird Brandon Schaub burner account.
Wow, this guy's in your head, Prano.
I hate when people you're a faceless troll pretending to be somebody else and putting out shit that's completely false?
I'd like to say that I've proudly I've overcome the trolls. I just won't respond. I've climbed the hill. You're not even like these people. Like you're not gonna, yeah. But we did explain it. There is a difference, and you don't have to agree, and that's fine. But I do think there's nothing more pathetic than hiding behind an account. There really isn't anything more pathetic. I don't care who you're critiquing. I stand by that. Whether it's politics, even people I don't agree with, like it doesn't matter. There's nothing more pathetic than doing that. So whatever. But look, mental health is obviously a real issue. But transparency is important, and I tend to agree. And I think there's a lack of it with Kyrie.
I think that it's unfair for us to even say it's making an assumption that anything that Kyrie had to do was mental health. He just never said anything about anything. He just left for personal reasons. That's not saying let's be open. Let's give this guy a moment for like mental, like you're not saying anything and you're doing it multiple times and you're leaving you're hanging your head coach out to dry because he can't even go do press conferences and make answers. Huge difference between Simone Biles letting somebody make a statement on her behalf and then being like, guys, I know there's been a lot of talk about my mental state. Let me tell you what's actually happening here. Here's video of me not being able to land a fucking thing in practice. I have what's known as the spinsies. If you don't know what that is, here's how it works. Boom, 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 boom. So different than being like, I am leaving for the 4th time this season, my team sport, for personal reasons that I refuse to explain. It's unbelievable to say that fucking those are the exact same thing.
Well, she's going to compete.
Daniel LaRusso's going to fight.
So this will be her last thing. What is she competing in?
The
vault?
I don't know. The vault?
I clearly know nothing about.
I just read it before. I don't know if it was the high bar. What is it?
What is it? No, she withdrew from the vault. The beam final.
Okay. Way less flipping and spinning. Just the occasional backflip, and then obviously whatever they do to get off it. So good for her. I hope she fucking wins.
Yeah, I've enjoyed these Olympics.
It's been awesome.
These athletes are, God, they're just something else. I think I want to. I just the physiques. I mean, everybody's just like, you watch these runners, you watch these swimmers. Dare I say, I just want to marry an Olympic athlete. I see their bodies. I see, obviously, they're at the peak athletic level. And then I realized they would look at me and say, "You pathetic loser."
They'd be like, so my kid's now going to be less athletic than me.
Not downgrading to you. You can barely do 5 miles on the treadmill, you loser. I was on the treadmill last. I was watching the track and field. Just absolutely yoked. The Americans are struggling, man, on track and field. Like the days where you and I grew up in, like the heyday.
Yeah.
Of the greats. No disrespect, because I know it's not easy, but and I don't know. I have such empathy for these athletes doing this in empty stadiums. I don't know. It just sucks. I'm like watching that, right? You watch these track and fields, these big stadiums, because I have more sympathy and respect for them because, Joe, it's not like the sports we're watching where they're just going to be back at it the next year. This has been 5 years that they've trained day in and day night. They have no lives, and they have to do this with an empty stadium. All the athletes competing. It's got to suck. But obviously they're doing it and they're making it work. And the Snoop Dogg commentary is something that we all need to get on board. I tweeted this out. Snoop Dogg is, I don't know if he's doing it more. He was doing uncensored commentary on Peacock, which is NBC's new streaming app. He was doing it with Kevin Hart, and it's unbelievable. I'm going to play some of this. There it is. So the first one up is the equestrian.
I like this. This is equestrian.
This is prancing.
They call this equestrian.
By the way, look at that horse.
Did you? Oh, the horse crip walking, cuz. You see that? On the set. That's gangsters of up. Hey! Oh, cuz. Oh, look at this, cuz.
Oh, come on, man.
This horse is off the chain. I gotta get this motherfucker in the video, cuz.
Oh, you said...
Oh, my God.
Snoop said I gotta put the horse in the video.
Motherfucker's off the chain. I need that.
Horse crip walking is officially in the Olympics.
Man, you see that?
Play it one more time, man.
Gotta see that. The intro walk was
play it
cold.
one more time. Play it one more time so we can see it.
I love that they need him in the video.
Don't you love that?
Yeah.
And then this was a good one. This was about skeet shooting.
Gold medals in skeet shooting. I got a couple of gold medals in skeet shooting, but not that kind of skeeting.
Yeah, well,
but I do skeet.
Okay, you say
Skeet, motherfucker.
You know what I love? You know what? First of all, Snoop's career evolution, I think, is amazing, right? And what I love is when you watch these videos, again, I posted them on our Twitter. You can see the fun that Kevin Hart and Snoop are having. Like, I love this idea of them just going completely uncensored, saying whatever they want. I mean, he's talking about skeeting while watching the Olympics.
Skeet.
Can these guys just be the main announcers?
Oh, yeah. Sure, that'll go over great with Middle America.
Well, I'm saying maybe tone it, obviously if it's on NBC, they couldn't be uncensored completely, but maybe tone it down. Snoop's been doing those Triller boxing match commentaries.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Snoop is a funny dude. He's legit really funny. Just being himself. Dude's hilarious. And Kevin Hart just doesn't sleep once again. Kevin Hart, this guy. I think he gets 4 minutes of sleep a night. Wakes up, goes on to do the next thing. When does he sleep? But yeah, that was funny as hell. I don't have Peacock. I don't plan on getting it. Because at what point do we just give up on these streaming devices? Can we just go back to cable? Can we just make that happen?
I love my non-cable setup. I pay for nothing, so I'm ecstatic.
Well, the big thing is the family swap. Like, I got the YouTube TV, my brother's giving me his HBO.
Yeah.
I got the so-and-so, my other brother's giving me.
Enjoy this while it lasts. They will figure it out one day.
How have they not already?
I mean, there's the ability. I think it's a matter of like, you want to build it to a certain point, and then they'll like drop it. Like, dude, the football, the NFL Sunday ticket, like, you can't be watching that shit on two devices. It fucking flips out. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So they know how to do it.
The NFL figured it out.
Well, and everybody's figured it out. They just don't want to implement it because it's like, will people give up on fucking Hulu entirely if they were actually paying for it? Probably.
I want to go over comments from American swimmer Lily King on her criticism of Russian athletes, because I've been asking this the entire Olympics, and I'm probably most people have. So we all know the big 2014 doping scandal.
Yeah.
At the Sochi Winter Olympics.
Yes.
So basically they banned Russia from the Olympics, but they didn't.
Right.
Now they're competing as the Russian Olympic Committee, the ROC, but not technically for the country of Russia.
Right.
But it is.
Right.
So she said there are a lot of people who should not be here. And then she goes on to talk about it. And so did other American swimmer, Ryan Murphy, who took digs. But this just goes to show how corrupt, if we put them, the three of them head to head, the IOC, FIFA, and the NCAA, I don't know who's a more corrupt, head-scratching committee or league or whatever you want to call it.
I know this is going to be a take that you hate because, I think you out every morning before you cut the lawn and like salute Walt's American flag that you have over the fucking front door or whatever. But I'd like to get to a point where people can just compete as themselves. Like if you don't want to train with the US team and you don't want, why do you have to be a US Olympian? If you don't want to and by the way, I'm saying you should have the option. But if you don't want, there's something, about obviously having a team to train with, having all their facilities, having the money that comes with being in the USA, Olympic team, swim team, whatever. But for example, the swimmers, a lot of those guys are just college swimmers who train with their college team. And then for a week, they're on the US Olympic team, as opposed to, let's say you're on the ski team, you have all their facilities, you have all their whatever. But if you want to compete as you should be able to.
Well, I see your point. I don't know the full history. Obviously, everybody has competed for their own countries, and I don't know if that's always been the standard. But in this instance, if the whole country is known to cheat
but my point is every single person cheating, and then because you're from Russia, you're banned, you should be banned from the Olympics because other people cheated?
Well, again, I see your point as well. I think the problem is
you're I'm just born here and they won't let me leave.
If there's no
now I'm banned from the Olympics because some other asshole was fucking doping.
But to me, it's similar to the baseball situation, right? If the Houston Astros get caught cheating, blatantly cheating, and there's no repercussions, then what's the point?
But that's what I would argue is basically within every country, there's the guy who's swimming for America has never met the guy who's running for America until fucking the Olympics, probably till the opening ceremonies. So the idea that
you think, dude, I'm telling you, they have year-round orgies. They meet.
Yeah. Well, my point is, let's say the entire U.S. track and field team got caught doping. Every single fucking member was doping. That should affect the U.S. volleyball team.
Well,
they've never fucking met each other.
No, again, that's a legit point. But I think the problem is that this was a whole system run and operated and facilitated by the Russian government. So it would be like if the U.S. government, not to say that they couldn't do this or have, who knows? I'm a firm believer of anything is possible. If they were operating this whole system to funnel illegal doping to their athletes, I think that's the difference in this situation. In the Sochi thing, that's what was going on.
Well, my point is still let's say it is. Do you think anybody on the Russian badminton team is yeah, give me that juice? Fucking, you don't need that juice. You're playing badminton. You think that 50-kilometer power walker who's not even allowed to fucking break into a full stride is like, give me that good stuff. He's fucking walking.
You sure power walking is really a sport?
We should literally just looked it up.
What's it under?
I don't know.
I'm
Put
looking
in
at
power walking Olympics.
I'm looking at Olympic sports.
Walk run. Is it walk running?
No. The only W sports are water polo, weightlifting, and wrestling.
I still have the fucking thing pulled up. Race walk. Race walking. Tokyo Olympics preview race walks.
But why is that? I'm on the Olympics page.
I'm on the fucking,
like the Olympics.com, their page. Why is that not listed under sports?
I don't know. Look up race walks.
Funny, when you say race walking, I'm thinking it's different races racing against each other.
Entries, timetable, world's list, how it works.
Because the only R's I'm seeing are rhythmic, gymnastics, road cycling, roller speed skating, and rowing and rugby.
I don't know what to tell you, buddy.
I don't know either. But this is the final week, correct?
Yes.
I need more Snoop Dogg in there. That's what I need. Okay, somebody left a call. I want you to try to decipher this, Joe.
Okay.
Speaking of sports we don't understand, somebody thinks they found an Olympic sport for me.
Okay. I think I found an Olympic sport for you. Race walking.
Again, I'm not seeing that on the list. Let me play this. I don't know what he's talking about.
Hey, John in Salt Lake City, Utah here. Watching the Olympics that night. Turned on dressage, and I have absolutely no idea what is going on. But it made me think of Ruther because the two things he loves is sports/competition and animals. And here you have horses competing with humans and something. I still don't know what they're doing, but just wondering that. I mean, this might be Ruther's calling. So just wondering if you've checked it out and what you guys think about Andy Ruther and the sport of dressage. Stay dirty.
What is it?
Dressage. I know exactly what it is.
How's that spelled?
We've already talked about it on this episode. It's fucking horse crip walking. It's exactly what Snoop Dogg was watching.
Is that under is that equestrian?
Yeah. It's fucking horse dance prancing.
Oh.
Literally exactly what Snoop Dogg was watching.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Within these categories are the sports. That's why the race walking. Okay. I now see how how's that spelled though?
Dressage.
So that's what Snoop was commenting on.
100%. I didn't even see the video, but I know that's what he was commenting on.
It's pretty gangster what these horses do.
So it sounds like we have found. I mean, your brother has a horse.
That horse is crazy.
You could get on it, start making a crip walk.
I can't. Dude, it's thrown my brother off it two times already. He's gotten jacked up. That horse is out of control. Broken wrist, black eye, all cut up his face the second time. Like, the horse is wild. I'm not getting on that damn. I couldn't get on the horse. He'd kill me.
Well, we need to find you a crip walking horse so you can compete as an Olympic athlete.
Maybe that horse just needs to hear a little Snoop Dogg.
Do you think they'll add crip walking to the race walking sub genre?
I hope they do. I love when dudes crip walk. Like, dude, so in college, I used to get really drunk and they'd put on crip walking videos and I'd try to do it and I would fail every fucking time. God, I wish there was a video out there of me doing that. I probably looked whitest as I could possibly look. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm for it though. I like it. Maybe I can do that with the raccoons I catch. Okay, well, I'm glad we identified. I didn't know what his call was.
Yeah.
310-359-8365 is the hotline. Again, guys, if you're going to leave a call, I don't know why we struggle a lot of times with in and out of service. Like we had a lot this week where I was like, what is happening? I knew you're laughing.
Because you're rubbing your eye like it's so painful to you're like,
well, because
oh, guys, we need to get our service better.
I figured out the problem. Everybody wants to leave a call not in a controlled environment. Everyone's like, hey, I'm in the car. I'm walking somewhere. I'm under a solar panel in a tunnel, under a fucking windmill. I'm on top of a stadium tower. I'm hiding from the government under a bunker, waiting for the end of the world. I don't know what it is. But the calls are nonstop in and out of service, which sucks because on parts
use your landlines.
You know, some of them I'm like, oh, that's a good chunk of a call, but if half of it is whack. We kind of already, I was going to play CT's call, shout out to CT, but it was, we already basically talked about it. It was more the Simone Biles thing.
Yeah.
Of just, and then he was saying, thanks for addressing the mental health stuff, which look, everybody goes through. Athletes are going to go through it. But again, back to that initial point, I think just be open and honest, and then everybody will be like, cool.
Yeah.
You're going through some shit. I'm not going to badmouth somebody for going through personal, emotional shit. We all do. Just be open and honest. Maybe Kyrie was going through a bad breakup. We don't know.
Yeah. And you don't have to tell me exactly what's going on, but you should tell your coach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to tell everybody everything. But
I just think also in these team sports versus individual sports, it's like a whole different fucking world. You know, obviously she dropped out of a team competition because she thought she was going to hurt her team. I don't think Kyrie's ever left because he thought he was going to hurt the team. And also these other teams, you know, this goes back into the stuff we're talking about with like the vaccination and everything like that. I mean, look at Mike Zimmer is basically just being like, fuck you if you're not vaccinated, because his entire quarterback room is out.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Because one of them, because basically all of them except one guy weren't vaccinated. One guy got COVID and now they're all close contact because they all fucking share a quarterback room. And Zimmer's just basically like, what we went through the last year, it just seems to me so selfish not to fucking do it. And we've talked about it before, and I think it fucking is. If you're on a team, to leave that team and not tell people why, or to leave that team, or to be forcefully removed from that team because you made a decision that was personal and not for your team. I mean, you're also allowed to be selfish, but you're not allowed to, but you can't complain when people say you're selfish.
Well, I think for me, I've thought a lot about this in the past year and a half. I think the pandemic has shown how selfish we can be as a country individually.
Yeah.
And by the way, that has nothing to do with politics, or I just think it's shown in so many different facets how selfish that we can be, and everybody tries to ignore that. And I think it does show through these things, and it's just, it sucks. And that's gotta, yeah, if you're the coach, that's gotta suck, dude. You're trying to get ready. We're in August, man. Season's right around the corner. One quick hit before we end the episode. We'll discuss the Evander Kane thing real quick. So San Jose Sharks Evander Kane is under allegations from his wife that he bet on NHL games. And she's putting him on full blast on her IG stories, also claiming he was in bad with guys coming after him for gambling debts, threatened to kill the family.
Hockey players, savage. But bro, like, I mean, to be in this day and age, betting on sports, like being an athlete and betting on sport. Like, first of all, I mean, honestly, with sports betting being legal a lot of places now, like, I think that you should be a hockey, like, he should 100% be allowed to bet on the NBA and the NFL and whatever. But like the idea that he was betting on his own games, I mean, like, how fucking reckless. The only reason to do that at this point is basically if you're going to throw games, because what's the benefit?
Well, again, these are all allegations.
Right. But she went hard at the allegations.
She went hard at everything, saying he was sleeping with prostitutes, gambling with crooks. Like, she's throwing. I'm just saying.
I'm assuming not gambling with FanDuel. He can't sign up like at sharks.com at this email address. Yeah.
I mean, she's going off. She's saying she's at home pregnant while he's banging side chicks. I mean, my point is I'm looking. Bro, that's what's crazy nowadays. Like, you do something like that.
This guy is like somebody needs to tell him about fucking cell phones and shit. 2021 prostitutes and bookies. You're in the NHL, dog.
That's why if you're gonna do shady stuff, you just gotta go to a different country. Like, you got to bang it all out. That would actually be a service, a business you could start for athletes. You're like, okay, dude, you got girl issues, you got whatever, you want to do drugs, all this stuff. We're going to do it all.
Yoshi's Tijuana van.
That's what I'm saying.
Yoshi at LAX. He'll pick you up. He won't drive because his license is suspended from hitting a homeless person, but he will sit in shotgun and take you down to the Hong Kong club.
That's what I'm saying. You do all the drugs, all the hookers you want. None of these women are going to know who you are, or will fly you to Thailand, whatever it is.
All you have to be prepared for is a 20-minute detour where we go to see a famous murder in rural San Diego area. Sorry, on our way down, we just need to stop this place where this serial killer once had an omelet.
God, it's so true. Oh, Yoshi. I'm seeing him about 10 days. Can't wait.
Yoshi.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him perform and then take him to the airport, which is like an hour away. But you're right. On the way, we'll stop at a Waffle House where a famous Cincinnati serial killer once had a biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
So drop your calls. Maybe you guys can shed some more light on some of these things, like the Evander Kane thing. 310-359-8365. I sent out 10 beer koozie packages this weekend. So
I saw you exchanging messages with a lot of addresses. Shout out to Ruther for all the koozies he sends out.
So yeah, if you want to get 2 free koozies, all you got to do is drop a podcast review, and I'll leave your Jesus, glitched again. Leave your Instagram or Twitter handle, and I'll reach out to you.
Great.
Okay, I'm done talking. You talk, please.
I like your koozie rewards program. I'm gonna add to it. I'll send you some Joe Prano stickers if you follow me on Instagram and DM me.
Oh, okay.
Got to raise those Instagram numbers at Joe Prano on Instagram and all other social media except Twitter. I'm at Fix Your Life. Go to joeprano.com. I've got some shows coming up. I'll be back in LA middle of this week. Got some great shows in the LA area if you're around, and always adding some new ones. Obviously, the one to really keep on the list. I couldn't be more excited for the weekend in New Orleans, October 1st and 2nd. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday at Comedy House New Orleans, and then Giants at Saints on October 3rd. So if you're anywhere down there, or if you're just a dirtball who wants to like travel for a comedy show / football / drunken debauchery, what's better than New Orleans? Come down and see a show.
Somebody
DM'd game.
I think somebody DM'd about that too. FYI.
About New Orleans?
Yeah, about tickets for the football game as well.
Right.
So check the Dirty Sports DMs.
Okay.
Just let you know right now.
I think my DMs are open, aren't they? Are my DMs not open?
I think it was in the Dirty Sports DMs.
Okay. Well, I'm saying if somebody has a question for me, they can DM. I'll check it out.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can DM Joe directly.
Yeah. DM me on Instagram after you follow me there.
I'm trying to catch up because there are a lot of DMs, and I was trying to catch up. Like, I was seeing dirtballs who would DM me in the last month. So Don't take it the wrong way if I don't respond.
Guys, don't take it the wrong way. The amusement park closes in a week, and it'll be back to business. Get back on social media again. We haven't posted on Instagram since like the Super Bowl.
No, I started posting again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You even commented the Jameis Winston workout.
Oh, right. That was hilarious.
Jameis Winston defenders are wild.
I just need him to last long enough to be their quarterback the week of October 3rd.
I think he'll be their starting quarterback to start the season.
Yeah, I think he will too.
I hope so.
I just need him to last a month.
Dude, what if he just shreds the league? What if Jameis Winston just plays awesome? Balls out. I mean, there's a chance it could happen.
There is. There's absolutely a chance it could happen.
Well, okay, what's a bigger chance that Jameis Winston balls out for an entire season, or we identify who is running Jameis 1 of 1?
I think we have a better chance of identifying who runs Jameis 1 of 1.
Okay.
I still think we could figure that out if
we
need
could.
To. And I'm also not convinced it's not the GM of the Tampa Bay Bucks. I stay on that.
Wow.
I don't think it's a 0% chance it's Jason Light. I stand by that. What debunked that again? Him not appearing on another podcast while somebody also didn't appear on that podcast? That was our debunking.
I don't even remember. Yeah. What
the debunking was Jason Light was on FaceTime while Jameis 1 of 1 was also on a thing, and we never saw any of it. That was the debunking that we had.
Well, I would say he just doesn't have the time. Dude, you're a GM of a Super Bowl winning team.
Well, at this point, Tom Brady's the GM of a Super Bowl winning team, and Jason Light's still in charge of running a burner account.
I would say that's like multiple personality disorder.
Oh, yeah.
While blasting himself.
Yep. It's a sickness.
That's like a made for TV Lifetime movie.
I agree. Can't wait until it comes to be true and they come to us for breaking it originally.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who plays me.
Seth Green.
Oh, really? You think it's Seth Green?
Now that we have the hair, now that we have highlights in the hair, we have Seth Green from like Can't Hardly Wait.
You put somebody older than me. I love that to play me. It would have to be somebody younger and better looking. But hey, maybe Seth Green's better looking. Okay, that's the show. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll be back on Thursday.